people? This is Nate here, Games Music Life. Let's talk about the series that just ended between Utah and Golden State. I don't know if it was really even a series. I used to call it the JV game. Games came on so late, I really didn't see a lot of the games. I just would check the highlights and just see Golden State pulling ahead, get a little alert on my phone that Golden State, they got like a 10-point lead, and it was over before you know it, man. So, Golden State rolls on, they sweep. It was the 1-5 matchup, so we kind of assumed that Golden State was going to make quick work of them. I did think Utah was going to maybe get a game in Utah because there's really nothing to do in Salt Lake City, so maybe they could bore their competition getting a win. But as we see, that didn't work out, man. So, 1-5 matchup. Golden State moves on. They are going to face the winner between the game that's going on tonight, which is Houston and San Antonio. And the Cavs already swept their series, so it looks like it's going to be a collision course for the Cavs and Golden State to go against each other. But we'll see how that works out, see what happens. But as far as this series, let's talk about it. So Utah, they the team that lost this series, and they got some big questions this offseason. I mean, are they going to re-sign? Well, not so much even re-sign. I know they want to re-sign Gordon Hayward, but it's a matter of he's going to sign back with them, if he's going to opt out, which will be a smart move for him because then he can get that 5th year and that max money, so which I'm sure Utah is going to give to him. So just thinking about it, will he, just thinking about will he go anywhere else, and I don't see anywhere else for him really to go to team up with. Maybe getting somebody to come to Utah with him, which will probably be a stretch, but signing back with Utah will be a good thing for him to do, in my opinion. I think that they're just a young team. They just got to get some more experience under their belt, and maybe just get a little bit of identity. Maybe getting a strong vet in there to help him out a little bit more will be a good thing for him. Joe Johnson was a good vet for him, but I wonder about their offense sometimes. I know ISO Joe can still, get buckets, and he pretty much won the series before this one against the Clippers. But as far as against Golden State, they just ran into a buzzsaw. So I really can't fault them too much for that. So like I said, the biggest priority this offseason is to get Hayward signed and locked in. I know George Hill is going to be a free agent this offseason, so I'm wondering what he's going to do. Gobert actually played pretty well, during this series and for the playoffs. They're just a young team, and they got some good minutes from Dante Exum. So I see them making a little bit of noise in the West. They made the playoffs this year. It was a 5 seed, so they had a good season. They just ran against the team that's going to be destined to go to the finals in the West, which is Golden State. So I read some rumors about they were maybe going to trade Greg Favors, and I don't know if they're going to get like some Grippos or whatever for him. So I don't know what they're going to get for him. It's just hard to trade for a center because the centers are pretty much extinct right now in the NBA. Although I do like Gobert, I like him though. But when you play against a team like the team that's going small ball in Golden State, then it's kind of hard to match up against them. As with that. So I think with them, their ceiling should be Golden State. I mean, that's a team they have to get past in the West. So we'll see what happens with that. But nonetheless, man, I do think that they shouldn't hang their heads too low with this one. They just faced a good team, and they could have fought and got I got one win at least. I mean, Rodney Hood couldn't make a shot if he was in the gym by himself, it seemed like, and they just were outmatched, man. Golden State their firepower is too much, and I know people were saying with Steve Kerr being hurt, and that would be for them to maybe take a step back in the series or in the playoffs period. And Mike Brown stepped in and did a good job, so they're a fine old machine at this point, and it's Golden State, man. They shoot the rock better than a lot of people, and they're pretty good. And adding KD, which I do think was a finesse move for them to add KD. They didn't need him. They just added him so that they wouldn't have to face him in the playoffs, which I think is what happened. But, we'll see what happens, man. So they move on. Golden State's going to get almost a week of rest. I think the series with San Antonio and Houston's going to go 7, although I do see the Beard is putting up a good effort today, so it might take a commanding lead today. So it's 2-2 in that series, so we'll see what happens. Both teams have won on the other team's home court, so they can win at any time. So we'll see what happens. But I think that whatever team comes out of that series will probably give Golden State a decent matchup, but I don't see them beating them. I think that Houston will be a better matchup to beat them versus San Antonio, because San Antonio just seems like you don't know what you're going to get from LaMarcus Aldridge every night, and if Houston's shooting that 3 the way they're shooting it, man, they could be really deadly. I'm rooting for Patrick Beverly too, man, so shout out to him. But I just want to talk about the series, man. It's a recap, man. This is Nate here, 1/3 supergroup that is Games Music Life, man. Drink more water, people. Peace.